jobs to be done interviews are over. Let's talk about the final things that kind of happened out of the jobs to be done interview week.
Secondary seat driving today.
So by secondary seat driving, she means she's usually cold, so I noticed her temperature was low on the thermostat, so I turned it up for her. I asked her if you wanted it turned up, but I thought she wanted it turned up. I was just trying to save her some steps. Forget it. I won't pay any attention to your world any longer.
Not only that, but you were like, did you see that person driving in the other lane?
And then I wanted to converse about this guy who was like driving towards us, and it wasn't even, I knew Lynette had us covered, but it was just this interesting, weird thing I wanted to converse about. Hey, look at that weirdo. He's driving right towards us. I did say, did you see that? Of course you saw it. Yesterday was the final day going to the base camp office. And then we did like an entire day of analysis of all the people that we've interviewed, not just from this week, but there was a few interviews that we did previously, and putting them all into clusters. What did I do?
You told me to honk.
I definitely backseat drove on that one. My bad. That's true. I screwed up on that one, admittedly. So we took every interview that we did and we put them into these force diagrams. And we had all these people and the forces that were pushing them towards our product or pulling them towards our product or taking them away from our product or solution. And we looked at each person and we tried to find out where the people were the same. Although Claire is here, we thought nobody was here. Go see what she's up to. Feel bad we've like stolen Claire's office. She usually sits in here. We thought maybe we were hearing about 3 jobs. You know, maybe there were 2, maybe there were 3. There were definitely more than 1, right? Not everybody fit into the same bucket. But people fell into about 2 to 3 buckets. Last interview, how do you feel?
Ready for a break, I would say.
Yeah.
It's surprisingly intensive.
Yes. And it's tough. You know, it took some wrangling, and sometimes we thought we were off to a bucket, and then somebody would get removed out of that bucket and put in somewhere else. Like, it was basically, you took some stabs, like, hey, I think these 2 people are alike, and then we discussed it. And then after a while, moving on to some different people, you found, like, wait a minute, those people don't actually cluster together. That person actually belongs over here. The goal of the job is to find something, in Ryan's words, something that's crispy, something that's full of detail. It can't be something very ambiguous. Right? The job that people are looking for isn't just simple CRM software. That's a very ambiguous kind of thing. You want something very specific about the nature of where they were in their life when they were looking for this and what they were hoping to achieve by purchasing this. We came up with 2 very strong jobs that I'm attracted to. One of them was people drowning in leads. They have a lot of leads. Maybe they went to a trade show or something changed in their life to bring them a big mess of leads, prospects, contacts that need to be followed up with. And now they need a system that can basically give them their jobs back. They need to reduce the busy work, make things a lot easier on them so they can go back to focusing on what actually they're good at, whether it's doing sales or doing something totally other than sales, like going back to software development. They've got to get rid of this mess. And that's something very specific. That's a system that you might just use HighRise for. Managing contacts and managing leads is busy work for these folks. There's actually, in these folks' lives, something much more valuable. But if you're a dedicated salesperson, you might look at a tool like Salesforce. So describing this job this way, it makes a lot of sense to me why someone would use HighRise versus another product. There's a second job that we kept seeing, which was people that were not salespeople, that had a very, much more primary career or job. They were freelance writers, or they were software developers, or they were artists. And their core job isn't to doing sales, it's something else. And they need a system to basically help them do sales. But they don't want Salesforce because they're not salespeople. And that was a really attractive one. I mean, there were creative people and people that know that sales is important. They need to do marketing. They need to get kind of blood and life kind of flowing into their business. But their main business is, say, writing, freelance writing. So they know they need something, but they can't spend all day looking at sales dedicated solutions. High Rise again sounds like a really great tool for this. All right, end of a long week.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ryan.
Sure
Yeah,
thing.
dude.
Yeah, it
This was
fun.
awesome. Thank
Yeah.
you. This was fantastic.
Yeah.
Done. Long week of customer interviews and analysis is done. We are going home. There's a third job that we kept seeing, but I'm not really happy where we've landed with it. There's a lot of great stories, and we think we're seeing something, but we haven't quite stated it yet, so I'm not going to spill the beans on it yet. It might be a very important one, but we're still kind of circling around it, because as it's stated right now, I couldn't tell you why High Rise is the best tool for this job as it's stated, because the way the job is stated, it's like, well, you could hire this CRM, this CRM, this CRM, this CRM. I think we're something's not right yet with our third job that we've defined. But the first two are crispy, and I can see why High Rise is hired for this versus another CRM. There's a very clear differentiator here. So that's where we're at. Like I'm really happy with how this has turned out. There's going to be some more debate and analysis about this third job, but I'm really happy how well these interviews have turned out, and it's given me some optimism and some inspiration now to go back and execute on some of these ideas. You know, like I've talked before in one of these videos about trying to get out of the drink aisle, right? High Rise sits right now in the refrigerator section with dozens and dozens and dozens of other CRMs. Now, how can we get out of that like 5 Hour Energy did and place ourselves where no drinks are, right? On a shelf somewhere by the cash register. There are no more drinks there, because it's not a drink anymore, it's a shot, it's an energy shot. And you don't need to be in the drink section, you can be over by a cash register. How can that be High Rise? But you're gonna have to tune in and see again. It's not, I don't have the solid, clear plan yet, but I think these jobs to be done interviews and the jobs that we've come up with is kind of a North Star. There's a path there, or we see somewhere we can make a path. And there's probably gonna be a lot of zigzags, but at least there's something that we're going to. Just stopped and got some dessert. I love this cafe. I love this bakery. They call it the Lakeview Market, I think, but I love it. I've mentioned it before on this vlog. I recommend it if you need something like dessert and cake, and they've got lots of other good stuff there, but I even recommend just visiting, for sure. But they have the best croissants, and I found today they make a bread pudding out of those croissants. I think these are gonna be the best. I got 2. And so that's been the week. We had a really nice time seeing a friend yesterday and having some drinks and just kind of relaxing after a kind of a long week of doing this. I'm inventing a kind of a watermelon margarita. There's a watermelon cucumber margarita that we like, but it takes so many steps, so I'm trying to come up with like a very quick version of one. If you need any assistance with doing these jobs to be done interviews, I highly recommend checking out what the Rewire group is doing, what Bob and Chris are doing. Read Competing Against Luck by Clayton Christensen. Follow Ryan Singer on Twitter and pay attention to what he's talking about. And ask me, in the comments, send me some, tweets or emails, whatever you need, and I'm more than happy to talk about the process and help out some more with these interviews if you're doing them. I'm thinking 2 ounces of tequila, a couple of these chunks, 2 to 3 chunks of watermelon muddled up, maybe a little less than half a lime squeezed in, a tablespoon of agave. I'm liking the start of this. Ooh, salt. That is way too sweet. I should have not added the agave. All right. Now my best work, I think I'm gonna go with, I added a little bit of agave. Gonna skip the agave. I'm gonna go with watermelon, Sprite, maybe some LaCroix, lime, salt. All right. You dig these videos, please hit that thumbs up. Please tweet a video. Anything would help spread this a ton. I could really use all the help kind of spreading the message of this channel. And if you're new here, please subscribe. I upload a new video every single day about business and marketing and designing products and getting through the stuff that we're struggling with as a business too, and even just trying to get through life. And I will see you again tomorrow. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye.